Welcome back to Black News Tonight as we turn our attention to the impact of an unprecedented shakeup in leadership for the African nation of Zambia. A regime change for one of Africa's top copper-producing nations is being welcomed with widespread celebration. But the road ahead for Zambia requires newly sworn-in President Hakainde Hichilema to lead his country through economic turmoil due to billions of dollars in foreign debt during a global health crisis. Joining me now to talk about Zambia and its future is Deputy Chair for Planning for the United Party for National Development's National Management Committee, Mutinta Mazoka. Welcome to the show, Mutinta. How was Hakainde Hichilema able to pull off an election upset and beat then incumbent Zambian President Edgar Lungu in a landslide?
Well, I think the motivating factor was that for the first time in our had a high turn when it came to people coming out. I think we can attribute that to the fact that the country has been under immense economical stress. And so as a result, people's standard of living kept and the chest would not ending. The end that was ruling at the time shared absolutely called discipline was one of the reasons that I think led to our victory this year.
What would you say has been the overall reaction to Hichilema being elected and the inauguration?
Well, I think there's great euphoria in the country. Most elections in Zambia are always, quite intense. In this particular case, the Zambian voters were anticipating some type of violence during this election process. And we did have moments of violence throughout the country. We had a very heavy-handed regime that was ruling us over the last 7 years. And so this victory turned out to be truly an opportunity for the Zambian people to exercise their vote and their right to choose the government that leads them.
Wow. I mean, the fact that it was a landslide victory says something about the capacity for a mandate, for a significant slice of the citizenry to say, hey, this is who we want. What does that mean in terms of the possibilities for real change?
Well, I think one of the things that we have to be very honest about is the fact that the road ahead is going to be a challenge. Given the economic status of the country, there's a lot of work that needs to be done to recover from the damage that was caused by the Patriotic Front government over the last 10 years of its rule. Now, when it comes to the country and the option and the possibility of real change, I think the leader that we have in His Excellency Hakainde Hichilema brings great hope. I mean, this is a man who is extremely disciplined. He has done very well in terms of managing resources. Of course, this is at a corporate level. For the last 50 years, he has shown resilience, and people actually do trust him. I think in this just ended election, nobody, to be honest with you, thought that the victory would be such a landslide. But this is a man who has an overwhelming mandate, the highest we've ever received in this country. He is a person who understands the Zambian people, understands what is acceptable and what is not acceptable. But overall, we are confident that once the cabinet is actually announced, it will give us good direction in terms of where this country is going to go.
Absolutely. And of course, Zambia ranks as one of Africa's top copper-producing nations. But the nation also owes billions of dollars in foreign debt to China. One of the things, Mutinta, that we will be thinking about and we'll be keeping our eyes close on is how that level of foreign debt will sort of undermine Zambia's ability to function in the way that it needs to advance economically, how it will compromise certain levels of sovereignty. You know, the kind of extraordinary debt that the West, as well as China, has placed on the continent of Africa has been a long-told story. Are you optimistic about the possibilities moving forward, given all of the realities that the country faces?
As I mentioned earlier, possibly there for us to be in a better place as a country. And as you've rightfully mentioned, there is this high external debt that is quite worrying. I think over the last couple of years, the government has not been very honest in terms of releasing the actual numbers of our external debt. Of course, these are things that the government, the just formed government will be able to know better as we go into office, making sure that we are able to meet our debt obligations. I mean, for the first time in African history, we defaulted on some of our external debt, and that was quite telling of the type of rule that we had. Of course, China has come into Africa, and they have made a, well, I would say they've probably gone out of their way to secure national assets in
I think we've lost Mutinta. Unfortunately, we're having a slight audio challenge there. But I want to thank her for her brilliant insight as we think about what's going on in Zambia. Sweeping change, certainly a lot of democratic optimism, but very real problems like all nations face that we're going to continue to cover here on Black News Tonight. Stay with us. We got much more coming up right after the break.